And if everything is working right, we should have Mr. John Mayall on the phone. John, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Excellent, excellent. Glad to have you. Quite honored to have you indeed.
Okay.
Anyway, love to talk about past, present, and future endeavors. You will be in town. You're coming to the New England area next week.
That's right.
Yep. I guess the Friday. Let's see here. I think it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we got 2 weeks of gigs, so they're all on the East Coast.
Yes. So yeah, you're playing at the Tupelo Music Hall in White River Junction on February 23rd. I believe there's still tickets left for that show.
Oh, good.
The next night at the Tupelo in Londonderry, New Hampshire, is sold out.
Oh, good.
And then the following day, you'll be at the Narrow Center for the Arts, a great place down in Fall River. I know you're doing. Is it this week the gig with John Hammond at Lincoln Center?
Yes, correct. That's right. Yes, pretty exciting event.
How did that come about? Just.
Well, I have no idea. I don't do the booking personally. That's what agents are for. You know, they round up all the stuff that makes tours together, and we just show up.
That sounds great. So let's start go through some of your long and great history. John? How old were you when you picked up your first instrument? And did you start on guitar first or piano?
A bit of both, really. You know, I dabbled in. I guess probably about 13, I got really into it. I think piano was the main one that I got attracted to, though.
Piano was the first one you started.
Yeah.
And what turned you on to wanting to play the piano?
Well, it was there, and you know, I've been following jazz music all my life. You know, so it was a natural progression.
Okay. Your father was a famous musician in England?
No, he was only played guitar for his own personal pleasure. He wasn't a professional or anything like that. So he just had a guitar, and so no, he wasn't. He wasn't a professional musician.
Oh, it's funny. I thought I read I read something that he was a professional musician. So you started off on piano and then guitar. What was the first tune do you remember learning on guitar?
Oh, I have no idea. No idea at all. I think the main thing is whatever instrument you start to learn the chords and play music.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. What was the? I know you said you were a jazz fan to begin with. Do you remember the first blues record you heard that sort of knocked you out to American blues?
Not really. I mean, if you grow up listening to jazz and blues like from the early age, I mean, it's hard to distinguish one piece from another. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say some of my favorite jazz always has elements of blues in it.
Well, they all come from the same source.
Sure, indeed. And then you went to art college?
Yeah.
And you became a graphic artist.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Many. What was it about? I know that there's many famous sort of British musicians who went to art college. What was it about? I guess art college that maybe we wouldn't know about here in the States that attracted so many. I don't know, later musicians.
I really no idea how to explain that. Everybody has a gift in life, and whatever area that is going to be, that's the path they follow. So, I mean, it's probably just a coincidence that a lot of musicians also were involved in art in some form or another.
Okay, fair enough. And your first band was called the Powerhouse Four?
Yeah.
And how did that band come about?
Well, it was just put a name to something where, a get-together of musicians at our college, so, no no really big deal. We didn't do any professional shows.
Okay, just jamming, and then what year around you started getting more seriously into doing blues bands when you met Alexis Corner? Is this the rumor that I heard?
Well, it's just when the British blues thing, Alexis Corner and Cyril Davis kicked it off in 62 or 63, so it was music that I'd always played for my own pleasure all my life, so, it was a cue for me to come down to London and get started.
Mm. Were there jams going on at the time, like open blues jams, or?
I suppose so, yeah. I never was really involved in that, but that was kind of the way it all started.
Okay. Who are some of the people around, musicians around that time that you first met early on in those?
Well, everybody came down from wherever parts of England, all gravitated towards London, so that was where it all came together.
Is that where you first met Eric Clapton?
Well, he was in the Yardbirds, so we did. Sometimes we had occasional gigs. We were on the same bill.
Okay. Now when your first guitar player, though, many people don't know. Many people, including I, thought the first guitar player that you had in the band was Clapton, but you had a guy named Bernard Watson.
No, Bernie, not Bernard.
Okay.
Bernie Watson, yeah.
Bernie Watson, and then Roger Dean.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now that wasn't the same. That wasn't the same Roger Dean who later became.
No, not the artist.
Yeah, I always wondered about that, and I always confused the two. When Clapton joined the band, did you approach him, or did he approach you?
Yeah, as soon as he became available after he left the Yardbirds, I made him an offer. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it was you that approached him. Is it true that long before the Hard Road album, Peter Green was in the band for a very short period of time?
Yeah, when Eric went off to Europe to do his own thing with a few friends, and left a space, and Peter was in for about a week.
Where did you find Peter? He was just another guy around?
Everybody was around. Everybody knew everybody. That's the way the London scene was.
Okay. So guys like him and Mick Taylor, they were all just part of the scene.
Yeah, sort of, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I was like, did you ever try playing? Sort of an off question. Did you ever try playing slide guitar?
Yeah, I played slide guitar on quite a few albums. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Somehow I only pictured a straight sort of electric and I guess finger style. Was there? I know. I guess Jimmy Page produced the single "I'm Your Witch Doctor."
Uh-huh.
Was there any thought about ever working with Page as a session guitarist?
Not really. No. He was not really my style.
Okay. What you've garnered so many great guitar players over the years. What is it? Is there anything I don't know? What do you look for in a guitar player?
Well, it's not guitar players only. It's any musician. It's people tend to think guitar players are the be all and end all.
Yeah, especially guitar players like me. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's any musician, whatever they play, it has to be something that I feel connected to.
Okay. In sort of a, I guess chemistry wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. A friend of mine wanted to know, or early on, did you ever run into the Beatles?
I met Paul. I did a session with him once. So occasionally I run into Paul.
Okay. The song Parchment Farm, I guess seemed a I don't know, maybe seemed an unusual choice. Maybe that's my opinion. Was Mose big in England at the time?
Yeah, Mose Allison was pretty well revered in Europe. Yes, he certainly was.
Okay. Now you moved to in the late '60s. You moved down to Laurel Canyon.
Yes.
And there's a rumor that you crashed on Frank Zappa's floor for a week. Is this true?
Not really. No, I met Frank, and he was helpful in introducing me to a few people in LA. Yes.
Okay. Did you is it through Frank that you met Sugarcane Harris?
I can't really remember. I mean, that's where Frank had a single of Don and Dewey, which is Sugarcane Harris. So having heard that, I made inquiries and got in touch with Sugarcane.
Okay. Now, what about Ainsley?
What about him?
Did you meet him? Did you meet him through Zappa? I know he was playing with Zappa around that time, or maybe.
No, he hadn't been to America in the time I heard him. No, I can't remember where I heard him, but it was long before he was involved with Frank.
Okay. Now, what was I going to say? You worked with Harvey Mandel. I'm wondering what you thought of the American blues bands like the Paul Butterfield Band and maybe bands like Canned Heat.
Yeah, well, Paul was a great harmonic player and singer, so he was obviously somebody who was very important to the American side of things. So and Canned Heat also helped to popularize the blues music. Very important.
Okay, so you like those bands. As far as what do you remember, John, about your first time playing the Fillmore?
Well, that was very, very momentous because it was with Jimi Hendrix and Albert King. So I mean, you can't get a more spectacular bill than that.
As I know you produced an album for Albert King. Did you was it at that time or at a later time you had discussed producing an album, and what was it like to work with Albert?
Well, Albert became a very good friend of mine. From that point on, really. So, when I got an opportunity to record him, that was a nice thing for us to do together.
Mm-hmm. Who would be some of the I don't know. It's probably hard to say, but the American bluesmen that came through England, who would you say was probably amongst your most exciting meeting?
Well,
if you could pick sort of one or two, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it was all very important for us to hear these people live, and so I can't pick one over the other really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all great musicians. I'm
sure you met Sonny Boy Williamson when he came to England.
Yeah.
Okay.
I worked with him a couple of times. Well, actually a bit more than that, but I worked with him fairly on and off.
That's great. So who's in your current band, John?
For the last 3 years, it's Rocky Athos on guitar. He's from Texas, and he's one of the best I've ever heard. And a fantastic rhythm section from Chicago, which is Greg Arzab on bass and Jay Davenport on drums. So quite definitely the finest band that I've had.
That's great. What was I going to say? You look in tremendous shape, and you still put on great shows. Some people say, "Well, what keeps you going, John?"
Well, I just live healthy, and fortunately, I've got good genes, and just take care of myself and make sure that I deliver when it comes to people coming to see me.
And
They expect a lot, so I want to live up to that reputation.
you most certainly do. One of the last time I saw you, I think was at Showcase Live. That was a fantastic show. But before then was the tour with you did maybe it was the early 2000s with Peter Green and the Splinter Group.
Oh yeah, we did a couple of concert tours with them.
Do you, so that would lead me to my next question. Do you still talk to guys like Eric and Mick Taylor and?
No, occasionally we run into to Mick, if we're in England, but I wouldn't have any idea how to get in touch with Eric.
Okay.
And we're all in different parts of the planet.
Sure. Well, where are you, you're out in the West Coast these days?
Yeah, I've been here since 1969.
Oh, so you're still out in L.A.?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are some of the modern blues players? I guess of any instrument that you admire these days.
Well, I'm never able to answer that question because there's so much music in the world, and it just depends on your mood, what you feel like listening to. So I'm never able to answer that one.
Okay. And I guess we'll wrap this up soon. But what was I going to say? How did you? I always thought the jazz blues fusion record was an interesting record. How did you hook up with guys like Blue Mitchell? Were they?
Well, obviously I knew Blue Mitchell from the Horace Silver days. So when in fact the first time I played with him was when we did the Albert King session. So that's how I first came into contact with him. I made that record with him, and then him and Red Holloway joined up with Freddie Robinson, who was also on the Albert King date, and that was the jazz blues fusion era.
What was the I guess the impetus when you had the era where you had Johnny Mark and Mark Allman and no drummers? What was the I don't know, sort of impetus to go in that direction without drummers for a while?
Well, it was an interesting experiment. Yeah, it seemed to work. So it was another facet to my career.
Okay. Currently, so what do you have for future plans? Do you have any stuff in the in your archives or that you plan on putting out for the public?
No,
or
the latest DVD and CD that we have available from our website, johnmayall.com, is the Live in London thing, which is the current band and thoroughly recommended. It's the updated thing that we have at the moment. So, like I say, if people check the website, they can see where that is and order it.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, I just want to remind people that we've been speaking with John Mayall. We'd like to thank you, John. Definitely thank you for your time and thank you for coming on and rapping with us for a while. And you'll
well, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a while since we've been up in your area, so we're looking forward to putting on a great show.
And as people always say, what can we expect in the show these days, John?
Well, it's always a cross section. I try and include, updated versions of a lot of the early material and a lot of the new material. But of course, it always comes out different every night. So there's a lot of improvisation involved and a lot of excitement. So that's what we try and cover the field.
Well, I would say you definitely do that well from the last time I saw you and the previous time before that. So that ought to be great, and we definitely look forward to seeing you. The show once again for the listeners out there, the upcoming shows of John, unless you want to go drive down to New York and see him with John Hammond at Lincoln Center. Mayall and his current band will be playing February 23rd at White River Junction in Vermont. I forget White River Junction in Vermont at the Tupelo Music Hall. The next night at the Tupelo Music Hall in Londonderry, New Hampshire, and February 25th over at the Narrow Center for the Arts in Fall River.
That's it.
All right, sounds great, John. Well, thanks for talking with us, and we look forward to seeing you here in New England.
All right, then. That's great.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care. All right.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Yep.